Those of you who know me or have been following me on my Instagram, you know that I love doing squats. I do squats at least 3 to 4 times a week. If you don't have time to do anything else, I think this is one exercise everyone should do. Dr. Chris Steppen, a sports therapist and a chronic pain expert, says 50 squats a day will keep the doctors away. Squats are just a great exercise for the whole body and a good move if you want to burn fat. They're just good for strengthening the core, improving balance, mobility, posture, and tone our legs. And let's not forget the booty because no one likes a pancake behind. I'm going to break down the squats into 4 parts: the ankles and foot placement, knees, hips, and breathing. Starting with the base, you need to have a good ankle mobility. A lot of people still cue their squat sitting back with straight shin. Most are taught that way. I was taught that way, to sit back like you're sitting on a chair and knees should not go past your toes. This is a myth, people. There is a degree of dorsiflexion you're gonna need to squat properly. Unless you have ankle mobility, then that's something that needs to be addressed before you start squatting. Most people use squat shoes or place a plate under their heels as a crutch to get that squat depth. But if you don't address that ankle mobility issue head on, what's going to happen when you start having issues with those shoes on? You're going to increase the heel like you're squatting in stilettos. So they're good to use as accessories to maximize your leverage, but just make sure you have the mobility and strength without the implementation. Those of you just starting out, you can use a bench or a stool. Place your feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly pointed out. You want to avoid the toe straight forward model. Why? Because when doing a straight toe squat, the force is mostly coming from the joints. It creates that torque at the knee versus if you were to have your toes slightly pointed out, that will maximize the force from the hip using the glute med, creating that hip stability in our most unstable position. Knees should go out simultaneously with the back. As we come down, drive our knees forward until our ankles tell us we can't. Then our knees start to travel out and over the toes in that bottom position. We want to make sure the hips are allowing us to use our quads to finish with a vertical leg drive rather than a horizontal leg drive. If we get weak at the bottom and we don't have enough hip strength, we're going to end up creating that horizontal leg drive to finish, which is going to be a disaster. Breathing. It all starts with the core. Instead of breathing with your chest, think about expanding your stomach forward and ribs to the side. This will stabilize your core. So step 1 is breathing into your stomach and into the side, expanding those areas. Bracing over the top like you're about to get punched in the stomach, and then lift. When you're back at the top, then release that air. So to recap, we want to have our feet shoulder width apart. Step 2, toes slightly pointed out. We want to have that tripod foot position and not collapsed in. Step 3, activate those hips, squeeze that butt, and get the knees in line with the toes. Step 4, chest up. Take a deep breath in, tuck that rib cage down, neutralize the pelvic position, and come down. Step 5, on the way up, keep the knees from collapsing or coming in, and wait until you get to that sticking point before you let air out. If you let air out too soon, you will lose that core stability.